The ultrasound photo trembled in Sarah Chen's hands as she stood outside apartment 4B, her heart hammering against her ribs. Through the door, she could hear the chaos of single parenthood, a toddler's laughter, the clatter of dishes, and Marcus Williams's patient voice explaining why vegetables weren't actually monsters. She'd rehearsed this moment 1,000 times during the sleepless nights of her first trimester, but now that she was here, every word had evaporated from her mind. When he opened the door, flour dusting his dark skin and exhaustion etched around his kind eyes, she realized there was no perfect way to tell someone that their world was about to change forever. Sarah. His surprise was genuine, his smile automatic despite the chaos behind him. I didn't expect. Are you okay? You look pale. She wasn't okay. She hadn't been okay since the moment 2 pink lines had appeared on that test, since the doctor had confirmed what seemed impossible, since she'd traced back the timeline to one evening 4 months ago that had meant everything and nothing at all. Can we talk? Her voice came out smaller than intended. It's important. Marcus glanced over his shoulder where his 3-year-old daughter Emma was attempting to wear a colander as a hat. Of course. Come in. Sorry about the mess, we're in the middle of making pizza, which apparently means putting every topping we own on tortillas. He stepped aside, and Sarah entered the small apartment that somehow radiated more warmth than her spacious condo ever had. They'd met at a community center fundraiser 8 months ago. Sarah, a successful marketing executive, had been there out of corporate obligation. Marcus had been there with Emma, volunteering his time as a contractor to fix the building's crumbling infrastructure for free. While other parents complained about the work, Marcus had quietly taught Emma about helping others, letting her hand him tools while he repaired a wobbly stage. Sarah had been captivated by his gentleness, by the way he made his daughter feel important while serving something bigger than themselves. Their friendship had grown slowly, carefully. Coffee dates while Emma napped with Marcus's mother. Long conversations about life, loss, and starting over. Marcus had been transparent about his past. His wife had died from complications during Emma's birth, leaving him to navigate fatherhood alone, working double shifts and surviving on love and determination. Sarah had shared her own story, a childhood in foster care, building a career to prove she was worth something, but always feeling like something essential was missing. One evening, 4 months ago, after a particularly difficult day when Emma had spiked a fever and Marcus had been terrified, Sarah had stayed late. They'd talked until midnight, and in a moment of shared vulnerability and unexpected connection, boundaries had blurred. It was tender and genuine, but the next morning, panic had set in. Sarah had convinced herself they were better as friends, that she couldn't disrupt the delicate balance of his life. Marcus had respected her decision without question, hiding whatever he felt behind that patient smile. And now here she was, carrying a secret that would tie them together forever. Emma, sweetie, can you watch your show for a few minutes while I talk to Miss Sarah? Marcus guided his daughter to the couch with practiced ease, queuing up her favorite cartoon. He turned back to Sarah, concern deepening. What's wrong? She couldn't meet his eyes. Instead, she looked at the refrigerator covered in Emma's drawings, at the photos of Marcus and his late wife, at the carefully organized chaos of a man doing his absolute best. I'm pregnant. The words hung in the air like smoke. Marcus went completely still, processing. Oh, congratulations. He was trying, she could see him trying to be supportive even as confusion crossed his features. As the father, are you happy about it? You're the father, Marcus. Her voice cracked. It's yours. She watched the color drain from his face, watched him calculate backwards, watched the realization hit him like a physical blow. He lowered himself onto a kitchen chair, breathing carefully. You're pregnant, he repeated slowly, as if testing the reality of the words. It's mine. Sarah finally looked at him, tears threatening to spill. Close the door. He stood mechanically and pushed the door shut, his movements automatic while his mind raced. When he turned back, his expression was unreadable. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I was scared. The truth tumbled out. You have Emma to think about, you're barely keeping your head above water financially, and I convinced myself you'd think I was trapping you or that I wanted something from you. I spent weeks trying to figure out if I could do this alone, if I should even tell you at all. If you should tell me. His voice rose slightly before he caught himself, glancing toward Emma. When he spoke again, it was quieter but intense. Sarah, how could you think I wouldn't want to know? That's my child. Is it? She couldn't stop the bitterness. We slept together once, Marcus. Once. We're not together. We're not anything. I'm just the woman who's about to completely upend your already overwhelming life. Marcus crossed the small kitchen and took her hands, his calloused fingers warm and steady. Look at me. She did, finding his eyes wet but fierce. You are not, just, anything. You're someone I care about deeply, someone I've cared about since the moment you stayed late at that fundraiser helping sort donated clothes until midnight. Someone who brings Emma books and remembers her favorite color and never made me feel less than because I'm a single dad working 3 jobs to make ends meet. That's exactly why I didn't want to burden you. A child isn't a burden, Sarah. Is it terrifying? Yes. Is the timing complicated? Absolutely. But we're talking about a life, a person, someone who's half you and half me. His thumb traced circles on her palm. I lost Emma's mother. I know exactly how precious and precarious life is. I would never, never consider our baby anything less than a gift. The tears came then, unstoppable. I grew up in the system, Marcus. 12 different foster homes. I don't know how to be someone's mother. I don't know if I have that inside me. And you've already lost so much. Hey. He pulled her into his arms, letting her cry against his flour-dusted shirt. You know what I see when I look at you. I see someone who survived impossible circumstances and built something beautiful anyway. Someone who volunteers reading to kids at the library every Saturday because she remembers what it felt like to be invisible. Someone who spent 3 hours helping Emma make a Halloween costume last month because you wanted her to feel special. He pulled back to look at her face. You already know how to love, Sarah. That's the only requirement that really matters. From the living room, Emma called out, Daddy, is Miss Sarah crying? Did she get a boo-boo? Marcus smiled through his own tears. No, baby. Miss Sarah just got some really important news, and sometimes important news makes people cry happy tears. Emma appeared at the kitchen entrance, colander still perched on her head, her expression serious. You need a hug, Miss Sarah. Hugs fix everything. Sarah laughed, a broken but genuine sound, and knelt down as the little girl rushed over to wrap small arms around her neck. Thank you, sweetheart. Are you gonna be okay? Emma asked with the earnest concern only children can muster. I think so, Sarah whispered, looking up at Marcus over Emma's head. I think I might be. Later, after Emma had returned to her cartoons and they'd made tea neither of them really wanted, Marcus asked the question Sarah had been dreading. What do you want to do? I mean, I know it's your choice, your body. I'm here either way, but, what do you want? Sarah placed a hand on her still flat stomach. I want to keep this baby. I'm terrified, but I want this. I want to be brave enough to try. Then that's what we do. Marcus spoke with simple conviction. We figure it out together. Not because we have to, but because we're choosing to. I won't pretend it'll be easy. Money's tight, space is limited, and I'm already exhausted. But Sarah, when Emma was born and they told me her mother was gone, I thought my life was over. That little girl in there saved me. She gave me a reason to keep going, to be better, to wake up every morning and choose hope. He reached across the table for her hand. Maybe this baby is doing the same for both of us. What if I mess everything up? What if I'm terrible at this? Then you'll mess up the same way I mess up every single day, and we'll figure it out together. He smiled, that patient smile that had first captured her heart. I can't offer you a perfect life or financial security or a clear roadmap. But I can promise you won't do this alone. Whatever we are or aren't to each other, that baby has 2 parents who are going to show up, even when it's hard. Sarah felt something inside her chest unlock, a knot she'd been carrying since childhood finally beginning to loosen. I'm still scared. Good. That means you care. Marcus squeezed her hand. Now, I have a very important question. His tone shifted, becoming almost playful. How do you feel about tortilla pizza? Because Emma's been waiting very patiently to show you her culinary masterpiece, and refusing her food is basically a federal offense in this house. Despite everything, Sarah laughed. I think I can handle that. As they joined Emma in the kitchen, as Marcus lifted his daughter up to help add toppings while explaining that yes, chocolate chips were technically a pizza topping if you believed hard enough, Sarah felt something she'd never quite experienced before, the possibility of home. Not a place, but a feeling. Not perfection, but presence. 6 months later, when Sarah went into labor 3 weeks early, Marcus was there holding her hand, Emma's hand-drawn good luck cards clutched in his other hand. When their son was born, tiny and perfect and wailing with impressive volume, Marcus cried openly. "He has your nose," he whispered in awe. "And your determination, apparently," Sarah laughed exhaustedly. He couldn't even wait until his due date. Emma, who'd been waiting with Marcus's mother, bounded into the room the moment she was allowed. "Is that my brother? Can I hold him? I'll be super careful, I promise." As they arranged pillows and helped Emma cradle her baby brother under careful supervision, the little girl looked up with shining eyes. "I asked for a baby for Christmas last year, and nobody listened. But I guess the universe was just taking its time, huh, Daddy?" Marcus met Sarah's gaze over their children's heads, and in that look was everything they'd built together: friendship, respect, co-parenting, and something deeper neither of them had dared name yet. "Yeah, baby girl," he said softly. "Sometimes the best things take time to get right." Sarah knew their story wouldn't look like the fairy tales. There would be hard conversations ahead about what they were to each other, about space and schedules and blended families. But as she watched Marcus teach Emma how to support a newborn's head, as she felt the weight of her son in her arms and saw the family they were becoming, she understood something fundamental: love wasn't about perfect circumstances or flawless timing. It was about showing up, about choosing each other even when it was complicated, about building something beautiful out of unexpected pieces. She'd spent her whole life looking for where she belonged. She'd just never imagined it would start with a knock on a door, a trembling ultrasound photo, and a single dad with flour on his shirt who saw a bird in his blessing and chose hope over fear every single time.